Hey, what's going on? I'm Brandon Bain.
And I'm Dan Foulds, and this is Rubbin' and Grubbin'. We talk about racing and
Tasting.
tasting and tasting. All right, let's get right into it. Hey, before we get started, I want to just talk about a couple things if I can. A couple little public service announcements. Number one, this right here is a bottle of BioSilk moisturizing hand sanitizer with soothing aloe vera. This is spectacular. Adele Henderson, who is the adult supervision of Coach's Corner, and Mr. Julius Bennett both bought a case of this, and they're taking this to St. Peter's Church. So God bless, right? And this is a really neat product. It's made in the USA, and we tested some today, and we put it on our hands, and by golly, if that ain't tequila, I never smelled it.
This is true.
You can smell that. Woo! That is powerful. That's some good stuff.
Yeah.
So hats off to Adele, and cheers to Adele. Cheers to Adele, and cheers to Mr. Julius Bennett. Julius is, by the way, LB's brother. Lawrence is behind the camera. He's the brains behind everything. And then we'll talk about the smoker when we get to the grub. Is that all right?
Sounds great.
All right. Let's talk about that race we had.
Whew. Well, I unfortunately didn't get to watch the end of it. I had to go to work, but the part I watched, it was pretty good, man. It was pretty neat race. Good to see old, staple of the sport back. I mean, obviously, Hamlin finally won. I picked him 2 weeks in a row, I think, and then the 1 week I don't take him because my man was racing.
Yeah.
I lose, but that's the way it goes, man. But yeah, pretty exciting stuff, man.
There was a great story that I read on NASCAR's website about Jimmy Johnson trying to learn how to race a simulator. And, obviously he's what they call it, the GOAT, the greatest of all time.
Yeah.
So he had a hard time, and they got this young gun who's a 30-year-old fellow from the iRacing universe to basically teach him. And there was one day when Jimmy Johnson said, "Hey, I've been up all night," and he literally was up all night.
Yeah,
and
practicing.
This 30-year-old computer whiz kid, he says, "Hey, like the first thing I had to teach Jimmy Johnson was how to work Windows." Like he's not a computer guy.
Right.
He may be now.
Right.
So what they were saying was that he improved so much because this expert showed him so much about it, and I suspect that'll stand him in good stead as he goes forward. It was a great race. I enjoyed it. I wish I remembered more of it because you know what happens when I watch a race.
Oh yeah, you're drinking. You gotta have a few cold beers, man.
Short-term memory goes out the door.
That's
but
it.
I remember that Hamlin bookended it, right?
Yeah.
Hamlin won the first one.
Yeah.
And he won the last one.
That's it, man.
And yes. So the good news is we are now in a countdown to real NASCAR racing. May 17th. 400 miles at Darlington Raceway, and this is going to be a spectacular, great race. It's a 40-car field on a green track with no practice whatsoever. No qualifying, no practice. Hit the accelerator pedal. Ryan Newman's coming back. Matt Kenseth's in the 42 car. Live action, baby. I'll be right here. You'll be at work on Sunday.
Yeah, I got to work, but I'm definitely going to be watching it at work. So I'm super stoked about this, man. I mean, not only are we going back to racing, we're going back to one of NASCAR's most iconic tracks, man. I mean, this thing is, a crown jewel of the sport. I mean, it's a big race. This one, the Labor Day race, obviously, is the one that everybody's like, hey, it's a big one. But this is a big race. If a lot of people say you don't, right? You're not racing the drivers at this racetrack. You're racing the track. They say that all the time. A track that was built in '50. You know what I mean? $25,000 purse to the guy that wins it. Johnny Mance ended up winning. Crazy thing. Yeah, it is, so man. It's amazing.
We've both been doing some research on that.
Yeah.
That is such a great story. Johnny Mance was an Indianapolis driver, and Big Bill France wanted some talent at this new track that was going to get some people to come, and they got this dude who ended up winning the race.
Yeah.
And the way he won the race was because he had different tires than everybody else. I mean, this was when NASCAR was basically coming out of dirt,
right,
going on to asphalt.
Right.
Daytona was half dirt and half road, but most of the tracks around the country were dirt tracks.
Right.
And these were dirt track drivers. And now you make this, what is it, 1.366 miles?
Yeah.
Like that? About a mile and a third?
Yeah, oblong, kind of different, you know.
And it's
different at both ends.
And pavement.
Yeah.
And it's, oh my God, what a, so if you're interested, you can find videos. If you're interested, you can find videos about that first race. There's actually footage of that very first race. You'll enjoy that. Hey, dude, I'm talking so loud, I'm coming through your microphone.
That's right.
You'll enjoy that first race if you can find it, and we sure did. So NASCAR is going back to this historic track, the Lady in Black, the track Too Tough to Tame, and the Darlington Stripe. So let's just talk about all three of those things.
That's it, man.
Why is the track too tough to tame?
Dude, it's a monster, man. I mean, it's different at both ends of the racetrack. I mean, it's high banked. It's pretty much almost single grooved. It's slippery. It's slick. It's, you know, like they say, you're racing the track, not drivers, man.
Right.
It's keeping up with the track. Changes a lot. It's a good one to come back to. It's going to be crazy, man. It's going to be a crazy one.
So I read a reference that said that because the track has two different radius corners at each end, right? It's
correct.
It's like an egg,
correct,
not an oval.
Right.
Extremely. So when you set up a car, when the crew sets up a car to handle one corner, then it's not set up to handle the tight corner.
Extremely difficult.
Or the other way around.
Right. Extremely difficult to find the balance. To find it to where it works at both ends is extremely difficult. That's why, like I said last week, I think this week is going to be about communication with the guy on the box, your crew chief. This is going to go back to guys that have had relationships with these guys for years. You know, I'm not saying Joey Logano or Keselowski or somebody like that is not going to run good or compete for the win. But what I'm saying is the Kevin Harvicks and, you know, Rodney Childers and, you know, these guys that have been together and raced together, changing that car is going to be the biggest key to this. No, everybody's on the even playing field. Nobody's raced other than simulation.
Right.
The track has no grip,
and a lot of them
no tires, no rubber, no nothing.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I predict.
Do you think that they may take it easy the first couple of laps?
No,
be a little bit
I'm saying first 10 laps there's a wreck. First 10 laps, I'm saying somebody wrecked somewhere.
You think they're going to go wide ass
open?
Oh,
yeah, man. How can you not? Adrenaline's going to be pumping your back. You're ready, man.
Wide ass open.
That's it.
And here's the swear bucket right here. We'll get, okay. Yeah, so probably most people know this. I didn't know it. And if you're watching this and you're new to NASCAR or fandom, there was a reason that the curves are different sized, and it's because there was a minnow pond back in as they were coming up to the opening it in 1950. There was a minnow pond there, and the property owner who said, you can use my property for a racetrack, said, but don't tear up my minnow pond, because that's where I catch my minnows to catch my fish.
Yeah. So refused to do anything with it, man, and it stayed like that for
a long time.
Yeah, a long time. It's gone now. It stayed like that for an extremely long time, man. But
crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's exciting. I mean, not only that, this is also a historic racetrack. I mean, they had a thing like we were talking about earlier called the Winston Million. So this was the deal. You had to win 3 of 4 of NASCAR's crown jewel races. So that's Daytona, it was Talladega, Charlotte, the Coca-Cola 600, and then it was Darlington. And they ran it from 80, I want to say 85, 80 something to 90 something is when they ran this. 2 guys that was it, that ever even completed it. And they were, Jeff Gordon did it in 97.
Right.
And Bill Elliott did it in 85. So those are the only 2 guys. That's where, you know, Austin Bill from Dawsonville also had the nickname, you know, $1 Million Bill. Well,
right.
That's where it came from. He won $1 million, man. So did it on 2 different ways. I think they said Bill Elliott won Dega and Daytona, and then won Darlington, and Gordon won Daytona, Charlotte, and then Darlington.
Okay.
A lot of guys had shots at it. Earnhardt had a shot. Waltrip had a shot. Dale Jarrett had a shot. A lot of guys had shots. Never sealed the deal, man. Only 2 guys did. So a lot of history at this racetrack, man. This is a cool racetrack. So
it was Harold Brasington. He went to Indianapolis in the 30s, and he saw what was going on there, and he said, you know, I could do this in South Carolina. And he had this dream. Now, Brasington had raced with Big Bill France prior to this happening, They would have probably built it sooner than they did, but there was a big event that got in the way. World War II.
Yeah.
So World War II came along, and all thoughts of racing was pretty much out the door.
Yeah.
So that World War II ends 1945. Brasington comes back, says, let's build a track. So between 1945 and 1950, he did it. Bill France helped him. And remember that at that time, Daytona was still on the beach and on the road, and everything else was dirt.
Right.
So this was really
unique,
the
man.
first hard surface track.
Yeah, unique.
Darlington. It was special,
man.
and it was big. Like these other tracks are little half-mile tracks.
Right.
A lot of the dirt tracks, I think, were horse racing tracks, believe it or not, that they use in the South. So he got it put up with France's help. What I saw a comment today, it said, a more imperfect track has never been made. A more imperfect track has never been made.
I agree, man. It's a tough one.
So the first race, it had Curtis Turner on the pole. And we're going to talk about Curtis Turner, who is a super historic driver of NASCAR. We're going to devote a whole segment to him. There was 75 cars. They were lined up in threes, and that was in the year 1950. And like I said, Johnny Mance won because of the tires. I got to work at Darlington in 2005 as a medevac helicopter pilot. I stood standby there, and there's an infield care center, infield hospital, that's operated by McLeod Hospital in Florence, South Carolina. And when I was setting this deal up, I said, hey, I'd like to bring my RV to this little field next to the infield hospital. And so they let me drive my RV across the track to come in to Darlington. And I'm going to confess that when I got right in the middle of that track, on that bank, I kind of looked right and I looked left, and I'm in a freaking Fleetwood Tioga RV, and I'm thinking, I could probably drive around this track one time.
Would have been interesting.
I could have done it once.
Would have been a fun time for sure.
That would be the only RV that ever drove on Darlington.
That's right. Would have been fun.
That was fun. So your dad has some experience going to Darlington.
Yeah, man. Mom and Dad go up there every year for this Mother's Day race, or right around Mother's Day. They absolutely love it. They drive up for the Saturday Xfinity race. Great day trip from our location here in Savannah. Not bad. Drive up, catch the race, turn around, drive home.
Yep.
They absolutely love it, man. Say it's a blast, just racing's cool. It blows your mind how close they get to the outside wall, I mean, just like this, riding.
Almost hitting their stripe.
Yeah, man. Almost getting their stripe.
The stripe is when you hit the wall.
That's it.
Too tough to tame is because drivers will be going around it and they think they got it figured out.
And then they wreck.
And then they get to hit the wall.
Yeah.
And they also call it the Lady in Black. Remember what? You know why they call it the Lady in Black?
No, I do not.
So in the early days, believe it or not, they would send a crew out there and they would spray fresh asphalt, a coating on it, totally shiny black for that next race the next day.
I like it.
And that's why they call it the Lady in Black.
Makes sense, man. I like it.
So the rest of the racing schedule is pretty much set. 3 tracks are going to miss out on races this year: Chicago, Richmond, and Sonoma. What does that mean for them?
I mean, they missed their date, man. I mean, it sucks. I hate it. I mean, Sonoma definitely is one of the road courses. Really neat to watch. Good race. A lot of guys that don't have shots elsewhere or only get a couple races a year in a ride, that's where they're going to get a ride. AJ Allmendinger, et cetera, et cetera. These guys that can really road race.
Right.
And they kind of miss out on a chance, so I hate it for that. I know Chicagoland's done, which is one of my favorite racetracks. I love that racetrack. I think it's awesome.
How long has it been there?
What, Chicagoland?
Yeah.
It's been there quite some time. Got to say 90s, early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, it's been there quite some time, man. I love Chicagoland, though. It's a great one, man. Fast, multi-groove. Bowman won it last year. But I hate it for them. I hate it for the fans that live in that area that look forward to that race every year. But take it from somebody who knows. I missed my Atlanta race this year. Super bummed out. So we just got to deal with it, man, and get through it. When it's done, it's done, and we're going to be back to normal before we know it.
And we're racing. This Sunday.
We're racing.
And I said this last week, I'll say this again. We've got a big back area out here. We call it the Sound Garden. There's plenty of room for social distance. You come to watch that race at Coach's Corner on Sunday. It starts at 3:30. Your first beer is on me. You come up. I'll be out back here. You say, hey, Dan, I want my beer. And your first beer is on me. Come and support Coach's Corner.
The center of the universe.
The center of the universe. John and Adele have got through this mess, and we're going to keep them going strong.
Yeah.
Mailbag question. How will track owners make any money without fans in the stands?
I mean, the guys that own it, I mean, obviously there's only 3 majority owners that are in this sport as far as track owners go. None of them are hurting for money by no means.
Okay.
Obviously this, hurts their business and what they do, which is never good for anybody. But with that being said, it'll probably be worked out. I mean, I would figure give a little bit this year during this pandemic, gain a little bit back down the road type thing, maybe average how money split, percentage.
Does Fox have to pay the track, or do they just pay NASCAR?
I'm going to say more than likely they pay NASCAR themselves, NASCAR pays the tracks, or vice versa type thing. Like somewhere in there, there's percentages split 3 ways, I would think. I mean, obviously you can't have NASCAR without tracks. Obviously you can't have, tracks with this kind of viewing without a sanctioning body. So I'm sure it all goes 3 ways, whether it's I get more of this and you get less than this, but I'm sure it all works 3 ways. But I mean, it's going to be different, man. It's going to be a weird year. I mean, no fans as of right now, probably for the next 2-3 months, maybe longer than that, maybe the whole season. So we've never seen this. This is this is history. This is official NASCAR history being made coming up this Sunday.
I've never seen anything like this in my life, and I'm older than dirt.
Right.
This is
official.
This is a new thing.
That's it, man.
So Speedway Motorsports Incorporated, and that's Burton Smith. He owns 8 NASCAR tracks. NASCAR owns International Speedway Corp, ISC, they own 12 tracks.
Yeah.
And then 3 tracks are owned independently. Indianapolis Motor Speedway is owned by Roger Penske, Pocono and Dover.
California, I know, is Penske.
Local tracks like our very own Oglethorpe Speedway are sucking right now.
Yeah.
They're
suffering, man.
So what we're going to do, the team right here at Rubbin' and Grubbin', as soon as Oglethorpe Speedway gets going and has a race, we're going to support the stuff out of it. We're going to talk it up, and we're taking ourselves out to the track.
Yeah, we'll get it going, man.
And we're going to do a Rubbin' and Grubbin' episode from Oglethorpe Speedway.
I like it, man.
I'm in. Are you in?
Oh, I'm in. It's been it's been a while, man, since I've been out there for sure.
We're going to go out there and we're going to support our track. And if you're seeing this somewhere with a little track, Kenny Schrader owns a track in the Midwest. If you got a little track near you, support your track, because these guys are really hurting. Another mailbag question. Will the drivers that had success in iRacing, like Timmy Hill, like John Hunter Nemechek, Garrett Smithley, Landon Castle, will that carry over into the real racing?
That's a huge negative.
You don't think it's going to work?
No. For any of those names you just named right now, I'm not taking anything away from their talent or their driving possibilities, but what I'm saying is your equipment is subpar, to be honest. That's just me being blunt, truthfully honest.
So they're NASCAR equipment?
Yes, their NASCAR equipment.
Timmy Hill alluded to that.
Right.
When he won that race, he said, my car is older, it's 200 less horsepower.
Right. Simulation racing, it's more control in just the driver's hands. This is engineering, technology, trying to find the 1/1000th of a second in air pressure, or whether it be a bolt or whether it be, who knows what it is.
So there's no minimum standard of technology?
It's speed maintained. If you can qualify for the race, and then NASCAR posts a mandated minimal speed, you have to maintain that speed at all times, or you're going to be black flag.
So you can race somebody else's yesteryear car.
Yeah, exactly. That's how these single car teams do it. It's about starting and finishing.
Okay.
It doesn't matter if you start 38th and finish 35th, or you start 38th and finish 40th. It's about starting and finishing.
Right.
Not wrecking equipment and making $1. That's what it's about. So, but when you compare those guys,
is there no more? I think start and park. They still do that?
start and park. Nah, I mean they still do. I mean guys still do that. Obviously in big races.
What does that mean?
Well, basically it means for a single car team who doesn't have much equipment, doesn't have a lot of money, doesn't have a lot of stuff to invest. Basically what they're going to do is they're going to start the race. If they make the race, they're going to run a few laps, and then they'll pull it in the garage, and that's it. So with NASCAR's rule, as far as like entering the garage area, you can't come back out. It kind of put the kibosh on that, because obviously now if you pull it in, you're done. You can't just come back out. You have a certain time.
Okay.
So back in the day, you could pull in and sit there for 50 laps, and then somebody wreck out and look up at the board, and there's 160 laps left. Well, I'll go out and run the next 150 just so I can beat this guy right here and make another 15,000 or 20,000. So that's where the start and park is. Like, I'm going to start the race, but then I'm going to park it, because in Daytona 500, these big races, especially nowadays, almost any race, you finish 40th for a team that invests X amount of dollars and you're doubling your money to win, or you do that throughout the year and you go, okay, we made a profit. That's huge, man.
Yeah.
So that's where it came from. It just, these cars that know they have nothing to go out and compete and run up front. Here and there you see a guy like last year, 77, Justin Haley ended up winning on rain at Daytona. Man, that's awesome. Chris Buescher's done it. A lot of guys have won on rain. It's great to get your first win, a big win, especially in a car that's, at the bottom tiers.
Right.
They go, hey, I won a race. Yeah, you won a race. Did you competitively go out and run lap for lap, neck and neck with these guys? No, you didn't. But at the end of the day, you won a race.
So I'm going to stick with Timmy Hill because LB knows him.
Right.
Lawrence corresponds with Timmy Hill, and he's sports. So is his game plan then to gather enough notoriety and enough of a reputation so that he gets into a big car, big team?
Very difficult to do. These big teams, it's almost like college football, NFL, dude. I mean, honestly, a lot of these guys know talent when they see it. You've heard talk from when these kids start hitting 12, 13, 14 years old and they're racing, late models, or they're racing these high-power cars and they're winning races and beating grown men and winning. Okay, here's a kid's name. Watch this kid. He's coming up. He's really good.
Well, I think all of these kids that I just named probably won a lot of races.
No, they probably did. Not to get me wrong, they probably did. But okay, at the same time, Timmy Hill's coming into the sport. Chase Elliott's coming in. Ryan Blaney's coming in. This kid's coming in. It helps who your dad is. Hey, ties are ties, this and that. But at the end of the day, you just get outrun, dude. Like Chase Elliott, I remember hearing about him when the kid was like 10, 11 years old. I mean, you already heard talk of like, once he hits age, he's going to get this. He's going to do this, right?
Right.
And my new favorite driver, man. He's awesome. But like I said, it's just they've never had the opportunity to step into the equipment. That's why Alex Bowman is such a good driver, because Alex Bowman, came and had a car and he tried to, run this car, a single car or a 2-car lower budget team, and run good and never got a shot really. And then finally, Hendrick was like, hey, wham, bam, Dale Jr.'s gone, come on over.
Come on over, yeah.
Here he's won a couple races so far. So I don't think it's a question of talent.
He won Fontana, didn't he?
Yeah, he won Cali. And then the other one he won was Chicagoland last year.
Okay. Well, I remember at Fontana when he won, he got out and he said, I used to race quarter midgets about
right over there. Right. I mean, so it's a great feel-good story, because here it is that he's been down here and now he's here.
Yeah. And you don't think that could happen for Timmy Hill?
I mean, I don't foresee that happening for Timmy Hill. I don't think it's a question of talent. I don't think it's a question of, can this guy get in the race car and drive? Right. Obviously he can, otherwise he wouldn't be where he's at doing what he's doing now, period.
Right.
The question is there going to be a sponsor? Is there going to be a team that's willing to go, hey, I'm going to take you instead of taking this new hot guy that I'm hearing about coming out that's really, really good, and on top of that, the sponsors love him. So it's finding somebody that's willing to take a chance on you, man. It really is. So.
Do you remember maybe 10 years ago they used to talk, and I heard this developmental driver training, and we still have that? We still got where a team actually brings people up?
NASCAR's even jumped that up, man. Dale Jr. has a program. He was one of the first guys that had a program, and what he does is he takes these young kids that are drivers and he teaches them how to give interviews and how to make sure you get those sponsors in, and how to keep calm and cool and collected. Because he's like, man, you're 16, 18, 18 years old, 17 years old, and you walk up and these reporters, you say you win a race or you finish third.
10 microphones
right,
in
you
your
got
face.
10 microphones in your face, and if you go back and look at him when he was younger, it's a lot of, real shyness, didn't like it at all.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so he's like, well, I don't ever want to see these kids be uncomfortable the way I was uncomfortable, so let's teach them how to do this right and make everybody happy. So, but yeah, they still do all that. It's just like I said, there's guys that go through the program, there's guys that are just that good that they go, hey, come here, I'm taking you right now,
you up.
Right. So it's
awesome.
it's not a question of talent, just a question of opportunity, I guess.
Speaking of history, who did Bill France call the Babe Ruth of stock car racing?
That I do not know.
That was Curtis Turner, right? And he was the guy that was on the pole the first time at Darlington. And he was friends with Bill France. He had raced against him. He actually got blackballed. He got banned from NASCAR for about 4 years because there was an effort to unionize the drivers in the Teamsters. And Bill France said there'll be no freaking union in NASCAR. So they banned him for a while. And then after about 4 years, Bill France had a big heart, had a change of heart, and said, come on back. And that guy died in a plane crash, Curtis Turner did, in DuBois, Pennsylvania. Like I said, I want to do a whole segment on the show about him because he is really a larger-than-life character.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I do also want to say, while we're talking about that, I do also want to do a first cheers segment. So cheers to this, Dan.
Cheers.
I do want to do a cheers to the remembrance of Adam Petty. Yesterday, May 12th, was the 20th year anniversary that Adam Petty passed away. He passed away in 2000. You know, so in remembrance of him, cheers.
Cheers, Adam.
Had a lot of talent that was visible, just never really got the opportunity for it all to unfold. I really think that when we would talk about him now, you would be talking about a guy that we talk right along with the Kevin Harvicks, and we talk about with the, you know, this generation, Martin Truex Jr.'s,
right?
and Kyle's son, Richard's grandson. I think Petty Motorsports would be in a totally different spot than where they are now. I think it might have been a resurgence of Petty Motorsports and maybe won some races and kind of moved them up the chain of command, as I call it.
But who's driving for them now?
Bubba Wallace.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, I mean, the iconic 43 show out there, that's awesome. You know, Richard's still doing his thing, but I think it would have taken it from a guy that, there again, mid-pack, you know, 15 down, to a guy, you know, a program that could run 10 up.
Right.
Had he stayed alive. One, the sponsorship would have been there too. Granddad would have pumped as much as it took, you know what I mean? In.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just, you know, a sad thing. A great talent lost his life way too early in the sport, so I did just want to cheers to that.
God bless his soul. God bless him. Fox did an awesome job putting those sim races on. And it was great to see that North Wilkesboro track looking so good.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you caught this, but Mike Joy actually went out of his way to say, guys, this is a virtual racetrack. The track is closed. Please don't go there.
Yeah, right.
But I got a funny feeling that sim race at North Wilkesboro is going to transition into that racetrack coming back.
I mean, I hope it does. I mean, I would think it might be a little while for the big boys to be there, the Cup Series, but an Xfinity race, truck race at North Wilkesboro on off weeks that they have through the season. I mean, because they don't run as much as the Cup.
Come on, man.
Come on, man. That's what
man.
I'm saying. I mean, let's do this, man. It's like you've heard me allude to it many times, man. The ARCA Series, like NASCAR is going to buy the ARCA Series. But why not use it at your racetracks you're already going? You know what I mean? So like I said at Atlanta, I would love to see a Friday night ARCA race at Atlanta. And then Saturday the doubleheader, and then Sunday the big one. Why not, man?
Yeah.
I mean, let's use it. You got it. You spent the money on it. Use it.
So I've talked about this young man. He's not a kid. He's 30 years old. Slap Shoes. He's a spectacular video producer on YouTube, and he loves North Wilkesboro. And he did a video about how much it crushed him. And he talked about when NASCAR pulled out, or when they pull out of any track, you know, that it destroys a small town. He mentioned Darlington. You know, if NASCAR pulled out of Darlington,
yeah, it hurt.
I used to fly medevac. I know Darlington like the back of my hand, and it would freaking like shrivel up and go away.
Yeah.
You know, there would be nothing of Darlington, and I'm afraid that Florence, right down the road, wouldn't be enough to keep it going. NASCAR going back to North Wilkesboro in any
form,
way,
right.
in any form,
Would
like,
be
like a truck race,
Xfinity,
an Xfinity,
right,
ARCA, whatever. Just going back there and then plussing that up. He also, Slap Shoes also mentions that it's people from the Southeast that were the core, the foundation of NASCAR, of its popularity. And then NASCAR kind of turned its back on them and said, you know, we want to go out here, out California, we want to go to up here, we want to go around here. We want to turn this into a national thing, not a regional thing. And as they did that, they kind of turned their back on the guys that got them going.
Yeah, but you kind of got to look at that in the same aspect of an NFL team switching cities, or, you know, here we go with the Las Vegas Raiders this year instead of Oakland. Yeah, that sucks. Unfortunately, I tell everybody all the time.
That's emotionally charged.
Right. NASCAR, what I'm saying is at the end of the day, NASCAR is just like any other sport. It's going to evolution, you know, it's going to change constantly.
Yep.
They're going to make changes to keep up with the times. I mean, that's what keeps it relevant. That's what keeps it going. That's what keeps, you know, this and that. Yeah, does it suck you turn your back on the history of it? It's absolutely horrible. You know, this is a foundation of people who got your sport to where it is. But at the end of the day, it is what it is. On to newer and better things, man. You can't, you know, it's business. That's it. It's not, you know,
it is
business,
a business,
man.
I totally get that. Okay, time for the good, the bad, and the ugly. North Wilkesboro iRacing edition. The good. The back and forth from Clint Boyer and Jeff Gordon really made the broadcast. Mike Joy, Larry McReynolds, and Fox really went all in with that Pro Invitational Series. Well done, iRacing and NASCAR. We needed that. We in America needed that.
Yeah,
that
it was
wonderful.
It was definitely entertaining, very entertaining to watch. I mean, Mike Joy's pretty good.
I wish I remembered more of it because it was great.
Yeah. I mean, Boyer's always funny, man. You know, came up with getting Bubba, you know, all that during it. I think it was awesome, man. I think it was a great telecast. I think it gave us a little inspiration. Was it, you know, we had this conversation. Was it racing? No, it wasn't racing. Not to me, it wasn't. I mean, it was simulated, but very something to watch, and we started getting into it, watching it and paying attention. So very, very, very cool stuff, man.
If you
really
looked at the drivers' faces sitting in their rig.
Oh yeah.
And that was alluded to a lot of times.
It was real deal.
They were in the game.
Yeah, it was real deal, man.
And what do you say? Mike Joy said, the racing is simulated, the competition is
not
real.
That's right.
Competition is real.
That's right.
The bad. No current drivers from Hendrick Motorsports, Penske, or Chip Ganassi Racing participated in any of those races. Maybe they wanted to get ready to go back to Darlington. So think of your fans and sponsors. You guys could have done that. And that's this comment is by LB, and I think what he's doing is basically throwing a finger up to these teams that said, no, we're not going to do it.
Yeah,
you could have got your sponsors.
I can promise you that anybody that sponsors any one of those cars already has their shit on national TV, and they're really not too worried about NASCAR now.
I think it was an opportunity. The ugly. Denny Hamlin got, quote, meloned post-race. What happened?
So from what I read, I didn't even get to watch it. Like I said, I was at work. But from what I'm read, I guess they were racing a few laps earlier. Hamlin might have done something that Chastain really didn't care for. So Hamlin obviously held him off, won the race, and then after he took the checker, he kind of spun him out. You know, he pulled the old Earnhardt, Terry Labonte type thing on him, which is fine. And I read an article today talking about, will these turmoils and beefs carry over to the real life?
Yeah.
And no.
So we actually asked that question.
Yeah. No. They're not. No, man. If anybody, I swear, if anybody comes out and retaliates of something that happened in an iRace on the real track, if something like that happens, if this carries over to something, I'm a shotgun to beer right here live. That happens.
I think the premise is, though, if you're a dick to me in the simulator.
Yeah, exactly. In the simulator, though, that's the whole key to it. I mean, if it carries over, it's going to be ridiculous.
How much does a car
I don't even watch it. A lot. A whole hell of a lot.
Yeah.
Man hours in it to build it, technology, a lot.
$250,000 maybe?
No, not quite that much. It's not that expensive, but expensive.
If you know how much it costs to build a modern Cup car, drop us a comment.
I'm gonna say,
because we'd like to know.
I'm gonna say $300,000 to $450,000 a car.
I got no freaking idea.
That's what I'm gonna say.
Yeah.
By the time, I don't know about man hours and R&D department, and I don't know about all that. But I'm saying to actually build a race car, I'm gonna say $300,000 to $450,000.
Okay.
10 to 20 to field Cup per year. Cup team per year.
10 to 20 million.
Yeah, one car.
Yeah. 10 to 20 million. That,
yeah,
by the way,
that's
from Lawrence Bennett, the man behind the camera.
Now that's just to field it. That's not to be competitive. Because I read an article one time that said to be competitive, it takes almost $40 million a year to run at the top tier.
So is Timmy Hill racing all the time? I keep going back to him because I'm linked it.
I'm
so
pretty
there's
sure
10 to
he's
20
racing.
million dollars for Timmy Hill to be in a car.
He's on the low end.
And he's on the low end. Okay. All right. So Hamlin got meloned. Checkered flag for charity. Are you having fun?
I'm having a great time, man. This is awesome.
Good. Me too.
Always
I hope
enjoy
you guys are
this.
having fun too. Yeah. So Denny Hamlin won that NASCAR race, so we're going to count that as a win. And his number is 11, so that's $11 to the Ronald McDonald house. Our total this year so far is $486. We're going to raise $1,500. Us redneck dudes sitting here at this table on Wednesday nights, we're going to raise $1,500. You could help us get there faster and maybe go north of that. If you would swing by Coaches and make a donation, we'd be very grateful for that. What are we supporting? It's the Ronald McDonald House right over there next to Memorial Hospital. There's a lot of people who are struggling when they have a kid in the hospital and they don't have a place to stay. They go stay at the Ronald McDonald House. That is the kindest thing you can do, is take care of somebody who's worried about their child.
Yeah.
I mean, that's,
Yeah, the only thing they should be worried about is their child.
Yeah.
At that point,
Yeah.
like I say all the times, don't matter nickels, dimes, 10s, 20s, 50s, 100s, pennies. We do not care. Donation to donation, everything adds up at the end of the day, and it all goes to a great local cause. So you guys need to come by and definitely donate.
I'm a sidebar plug. One of my good friends is running for Congress right now, and Danny Merritt got on Facebook. He's running for the 1st District, and he got on Facebook one day and he said, I am at the Ronald McDonald House and I'm going to donate $100 to them, and I challenge you to go over and do it. And I'll be damned if Jeannie and I didn't get in the damn car and go over there.
That's it,
and
man.
freaking stroke the $100 right there.
Right,
So for that, Danny Merritt, I love you. And of course, you're getting my vote. So I support the Ronald McDonald House, absolutely. All right. Come on, dude. No Pro Invitational Series champion.
Should have been Timmy Hill.
Okay.
I'm just going out on a limb to say it. Should have been Timmy Hill. Best average finish, most points, 1 win, period. Should have been Timmy Hill.
Then I propose that we announce right now, right here at Coach's Corner,
Timmy Hill.
that Timmy Hill is the NASCAR
Official
Pro Invitational Series champion. Timmy Hill, Lawrence Bennett loves you. He's your friend, and this is your trophy.
That's
right
it.
here.
Official.
You drop him a thing on Facebook, we'll mail you that trophy.
Yep. There
and this
again.
is Coach's Corner, the center of the universe.
There again, we're running on a point system that's based on consistency and not wins. Not what we run today, but what we used to run.
Okay.
And Matt Kenseth, prime example, never won a race, but won a championship.
Timmy Hill over Byron?
Yeah. What, Byron won some races, but what's his average finish and what's his points add up to?
I don't know that. You're smart. You're the one that keeps up with that.
Timmy Hill had 280-something points and 1 win. Average finish of, I know, close to 3rd, probably got to be. Top 5, easy.
Okay.
They killed it, man.
This is why I sit next to him, because
Yeah, I mean, wins are wins. Hey, everybody wants to win. That's the object. But, I mean, there again, another piece of NASCAR history. Guess what? Jeff Gordon's won, I don't remember if it was 10, 13, or 10, what year it was, but he's won double-digit races and not won a championship.
And then there was the fellow that died that won a championship and didn't win a race.
Matt Kenseth did it.
No, I'm going back. The same year that Davey Allison died. Dude died in a plane crash.
No, you're talking Alan Kulwicki.
Alan Kulwicki. He won a championship one year, and I don't think he won a race.
I don't know if he did. I think he might have won races.
You might have been 3 years old back then.
But I think he won races. I don't remember if he did, but I'm pretty sure 86.
86?
Yeah, 86.
Yeah, you were alive.
I was alive, man. That was my first race.
There's
my first race, man.
Great video about Alan Kulwicki. He was a character.
You know what made him special was not only the fact that he drove the car, he worked on the car, he built the car.
He was smart.
He was an engineer, right? He was an engineer.
Yeah.
So
he was smart. Okay, so we've covered that. William Byron, he had 3 wins, but only 184. So they were doing points for the sim race.
I don't know if they were or not. But
Lawrence wrote it here.
I would think then if it's on there, it's on
Hamlin
there.
had 2 wins, 189.
Right. What Timmy Hill have?
Our side bets. Lawrence won with Denny Hamlin. We pick a driver every week, and whoever finishes highest wins $5.
2 weeks in a row I took him, and then the 1 week I don't take him.
You
he
took
wins
your
the
man
damn
Jeff
race.
Gordon.
He had Dover won. I'm telling you.
LB,
He got wrecked.
I owe you $10. I'll pay my debts. I had Timmy Hill because they wouldn't let. Now, why did they not let William Byron run in that race?
Byron didn't want those sponsors,
he
and
said-
Hendrick said, "No, man.
He said, "I've done enough. You've won
Dude,
enough."
what else you got to prove?
Get
You're
out.
gonna run this one. You're gonna win this one too."
Okay, cheers segment. Cheers to Dale Jr. and his buddies for cleaning up North Wilkesboro and leading the rush
That's it.
for iRacing to scan and model it. There is an excellent YouTube video about that. The scanner is a thing that sits up on a tower. They went out there with weed whackers. They got all the weeds off the track, because if the scanner sees a weed, it thinks it's solid. They clean the track up, a team of volunteers, and then they put this pole that shoots lasers and goes around in circles. It's engineering stuff. They did a spectacular job.
Mapped it out, man.
Mapped it out. There'll probably be I'm not going to read this. I'm not going to read this line where it says there'll never be another real NASCAR race there again, because I think there will be. Yeah. I'm Dan Foulds, and I think that there will be a race at that track. But the track will live forever. Cheers. Cheers.
Yeah.
Darlington this Saturday at 3:30, 400 miles. The stages are 90 miles, stage 1. I'm sorry, 90 laps. 185 laps, stage 2.
Yeah.
Am I doing this right?
Yeah.
Or is it laps or miles? And
it's
293 laps.
293
okay.
laps.
All right.
And then also there's a competition yellow that comes out at lap 30. So when that competition yellow comes out, the way that they're doing this is the field is frozen. So that means after 30 laps, if you're in the lead, you don't lose the lead coming to pit road. You can come out dead last. You can come off a pit road dead last, but you restart first. So what they're doing is when these teams come in,
I got to listen to this.
Right, what they're doing when these teams come in is they're going to pit. I'm pretty sure it's the first 20 and then the second 20, but the first 20 will come in, or it might be all at once. But you have pretty much from the time the pace car comes out on the track at 55 miles an hour all the way around Darlington. And then as long as you beat the pace car off the pit road, you retain whatever position it was you were running at the competition column. So you can come out 12th and 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and 20 could go 4 tires and gas really quick and pull out. And you can sit there and change your car, do whatever you want to it, do this, do that, take 45 seconds and then pull out, and you're getting ready to restart.
So it's a pit stop with more time.
Pit stop with more time. No positions to be made or lost on pit road, basically.
Well, have they ever done this before?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've done this a couple times. It's just green racetrack, everybody getting back in it. Nobody's been able to work on these race cars the way they normally work on a race car for a prep week like coming up to it. So this is a very key pit stop to make these wholesale changes. To get somewhat of a base for you to run the rest of this race, because the next one is 60 laps later.
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Does NASCAR do pit stops for television commercials?
No.
I mean yellow flags.
No.
They don't stop anything?
No, dude, no. There's no TV timeout. There's no none of that.
TV time, yeah.
Yeah, there's no TV timeouts in NASCAR whatsoever. There's no, 90-second TV timeout. Like when they break at TV, when you're there live, they're still doing this. Okay. That's it. Now, there's no, hey, we're, slow down, wait for the cameras to come back on. No, man, we're still doing this.
You're still with us, great. If you ever wondered how this whole mess got started, it was because he's smart about NASCAR and I'm learning and I can ask him questions. We've been doing this for 3 years. Yeah. Where I'd ask him a question, he explains stuff. And we're getting ready to start our Wednesday night game of skill again.
Yeah, man.
Is that tonight?
Tonight
we got a game of skill.
I'm winning this one, week 1, off the bat. I haven't won nothing all year, and it's got me pissed off.
Okay. The starting lineup positions are going to be from a random draw at Darlington. 1 through 12 will be set by a random draw.
Now that's also off of owner points.
Owner points, right. Then 13 through 24 will draw, and then 25 through 36 will draw,
Correct.
And then 37 through 40.
Yep.
Field to be frozen, like you said, for a modified competition caution.
Lap 30.
Half the field will pit, then the other half. Yep. No fans.
No fans, man. Also, something else that they're doing is, so wherever you finish this race, 1st to 12th, when you start this second race at Darlington next Wednesday, the field's inverted. Like they were doing in simulation races. So if you finish 12th.
So the winner is going to be at the back.
And I'm pretty sure it's 1 through 12, might be 1 through 20, not quite sure, I forget. But basically, not at the back of the field, no.
Nope.
Just the first 12 or the first 20 are going to flop. So if you finish 12th, you're going to start first. If you finish first, you're going to start 12th.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure it's 1 through 12. Same scenario we just went over for the starting position selection for the first one.
So, if somehow this video ever finds its way to a NASCAR driver, I want to tell you, after watching quarantine concerts here in Savannah, we don't give a crap, us who are watching this race on TV. We are so grateful to you for doing what you're doing. Yeah. Thank you so much. If you don't, there's going to be hundreds of millions of people watching you guys in those cars. Thank you very much. Yeah. Thank you to NASCAR. Thank you to Fox. Don't sweat the fans. You got lots of fans. They're sitting in their living rooms. They're jumping up and down. They're clapping, and they're drinking beers.
Let me tell you, about 7 to go every Sunday, dude. I'm on it. I'm telling you. And God forbid I got a chance to win, because if I got a chance to win,
Lawrence,
oh, man.
Did you stand up and put your hand on your heart during the national anthem at the last race?
That's right.
In your house, you did that, didn't you?
And I did also hear Darius Ruckers, who's doing the national anthem this week.
Outstanding.
At Darlington. So pretty cool deal there. Probably going to be pretty good.
So each team can only have 16 people. That's the driver, the spotter, the crew chief, and the owner.
Yeah.
Not a lot of support behind the wall.
No, they're also limiting. They're not coming into the gates until 5:30 Saturday.
Yeah.
And then Sunday the race is on, and then they leave immediately. And there's the same similar thing on Wednesday. They don't come back.
Okay. They're trying to keep anybody from getting.
Yeah, they're keeping everybody away from each other in those off days. As far as the Cup Series and Xfinity, everybody. If you're not a Cup driver or a Cup Series member, crew chief and crew, you're not going to be at that race on Sunday. Not even Xfinity guys, not this, not that, unless you're running dual duty,
All right,
double duty.
For $5, when's the first wreck going to be?
First wreck, I told you, I'm going to say for $5, if you want me within the first 10 laps, $5.
I got $5. So the first wreck will be at the first turn.
First turn, first wreck, $5. I'll take it.
All right.
I got some of that.
What you got? You want after 10 laps? Turn one?
Yep. I think it'll be turn one. If there's a post-race dust-up, drivers will get in a world of trouble breaking the social distancing policy. Yeah, guys don't do that. They can't do that.
I hope not. I hope it doesn't come down to that, but if it does, handle your business.
NASCAR will be under a huge microscope in the sports world.
Hey, now,
I'm not going to talk about that.
All right, now listen, now here we're saying this, but what put it on the mat to begin with iconically? What's that? A lot of people sit there and go, I remember when Cale Yarborough fought the Allisons down in whatever at Daytona.
Yeah.
So here we are with the same thing. You got 20 million watching.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say. That's it.
He had the duty one afternoon while they're racing, and he falls asleep in a chair. I mean, there's a NASCAR race going on. This guy, and I go up and I woke him up. I said, dude, how can you go to sleep in the middle of a race? He goes, this ain't nothing but a non-athletic sport centered around rednecks. NASCAR. But you're right. There could be some tempers flaring.
That's it, man. We'll see. We'll have to see.
Again, please come and support Coach's Corner. Like I said, if you come to watch a race, I'll be out back. Come holler at me. I'll buy your first beer.
Yeah. You guys also, go check us out, YouTube, Rubbin' and Grubbin'. Follow us on Facebook, Rubbin' and Grubbin'. As always, 5:30 on Wednesdays. Got some new news coming up. We're probably going to end up switching the time coming up sometime soon, so just get prepared for that. But live from Coach's Corner, Center of the Universe, every Wednesday, man.
Believe it or not, ESPN is like, let's do something, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Radio.
We'll keep that on wraps. We're going to get these worked out. Rubbin' and Grubbin', man.
What's the grubbin'?
I don't know. What is the grubbin'? What we got going on?
Grubbin' is about the food.
Yeah.
And we got a great grubbin' story tonight.
Hey, but here we do go. While we're doing, let's talk about, all right, we didn't get to this. 5 drivers to watch.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
At this Darlington race
This is live TV. Go ahead. Sorry.
All right, five drivers to watch. If you're making odds bets, I'm telling you right now, 5 drivers to watch coming up.
Well, now that it's in the car, I'm saying Harvick.
That's a very smart choice. It's going to go Harvick. I would say Kyle Busch. Mm-hmm. I would say Joey Logano, second or third, neck and neck for Kyle Busch, obviously, because he's hot.
Right.
Then you're going to have to go, I'm probably going to say, let's go with Denny Hamlin. Okay?
Okay.
And then 5th, I'm going to say we'll go Chase Elliott, and a dark horse guy to watch out for would be Matt Benedetto. Now, the real creeper in all of this, the best average finish at Darlington is a guy that still races today. Of all time, since it opened to now, there's one driver that has the best all-time average finish at Darlington. You know who that is?
No.
Denny Hamlin.
No kidding.
No kidding. 6.2 is his average finish at Darlington through his whole career.
How about that?
Pretty good.
How about that?
We'll see, man.
All right. So this is what happened. There's a guy, Clay, who works for a company called Kirby, and he got an amazing, like a $13,000 smoker, and he calls up John Henderson and says, I want you to check out my new smoker and see if it's any good. So this smoker is now out in the Sound Garden, and we got some wings that got smoked on that today, and our lovely superstar, Miss Caitlin, turn around, smile at the camera, has brought us these wings. These are smoked wings. This grill has a rotisserie with shelves in it.
It looks pretty legit, especially you've seen what I cook on. But,
you're a champion. You're a winning barbecue contestant.
I'm trying to get a piece of that over there, man. That thing, it's nice.
So Clay,
nice.
Thanks very much. And thanks for supporting John Henderson and Coach's Corner and Adele. We're going to put this thing to good use. We'll tell you that it's going to probably take us 2 years to test it really well and see if it's really any good. So come back in about 2 years. We'll give you your cooker back.
Tires will be back on it because they're off right now.
So here's these smoked wings, and I'm going to let you try that.
Yeah, let me get one of these.
I've had some, and those are really good. Really, really good. Guys, as always, the menu for coaches is online. Anything that we have here, you can call in on the phone. You can order it. Like I said, the menu's online. I think you can do online orders. If you're uncomfortable about coming in the store, just call and somebody will bring the food out to your car. We were doing deliveries for a while. If you're in a jam, we'll probably still do deliveries because that's just how John Henderson and Adele Henderson roll. Don't worry about that. In case you don't know, in case you can't tell, we like this store. This is not a corporate store. This is a family store. We have a lot of fun here, and we want it to be successful.
I mean, always supported by John and Adele. Great people. They do a lot of good stuff for the community, man.
How many charities, man?
How
many charities?
I can't even name the charities.
People come in here all the time saying, can you help me out? And John Henderson's got one answer.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I mean, on top of that, just staples, great food, great times, great entertainment.
And Sunday, boogity, boogity, boogity. Let's go racing, boys.
That's it. We get it, man.
Hey, come back next Wednesday. We'll have a double show. I'll try to have the microphone on when we start. We're going to talk about primetime race at Darlington and the race at the Beast from the East, Charlotte Motor Speedway.
That's it. I'm Brandon Bain.
I'm Dan Foulds.
Hey, till next time, wash your hands. Yeah, that was fun. That was a fun one, man.
Good job.
Yeah, dude.
Good job. But don't worry, I talk so fucking loud. I guarantee you that they can hear my voice through your.
I didn't even notice. I'm sitting there like.
Yeah, Lawrence is going, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. I'm just having fun. Like, all right, damn.